Hey y'all, hi, and welcome to the corner of my boudoir in which I have my vanity and my personal makeup collection. Today I'm going to be doing a classic old school shop my stash video. I'm going to go through my drawers and pick pieces of makeup that I haven't really been using, things that have slipped to the back of the drawer, things that I want to rekindle my love of and use actively in the coming weeks. I'm doing this partly because I'm doing no buy July, so my mind has really been on the things that I already have, my love for the things that I already have, and rerouting my attention towards those things, and this project is a great way to do that. But I like shopping my stash year round, even when I'm not on a no buy. So if you like this video, let me know and maybe I can make it a series. If this is your first time to my channel, then welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Hannah. I love makeup. I like reviewing new makeup. I also really like dwelling in the love of the makeup that I already own. I want to have a channel that celebrates the love of beauty without encouraging overspending. So if that sounds good to you, I hope you'll subscribe. And now let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. I have been functioning with a little bit of a shop my stash model already, especially when it comes to eyeshadow. Most of my eyeshadows are stored in this makeup case right here, which we'll get into in a little bit. And I just have a couple of palettes on top of my vanity. Those are the things that I've been using for eyeshadow whenever I've sat down at my vanity to do my eyeshadow. So the first order of business is actually going to be to put those pieces of makeup away so that I can really have a clean slate for shopping my stash for a new group of things that I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to bring you over to the vanity. I'm going to frame up a really close-up shot so you can really see the makeup and see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to put away the things that are on the top of the vanity and then go through the drawers and shop my stash. Okay, this is the makeup that has been on top of my vanity for the past several weeks. Some of it's here because I put it here when I first set up this space. Like, it's what I shopped my stash for the first time around after we moved here. And some of it is here just because it has collected over the past couple of weeks. It's stuff that I've kind of set here instead of putting away because I felt like I wanted to test it more or use it more. These are the things that are in the first category. The Pat McGrath Mothership palette in Midnight Sun. This is my only Pat McGrath palette, and it's one of my favorite palettes that I own. It's great for high impact looks and looks for filming, but I also find it really practical in the day-to-day, especially this super shiny shade for just making my lids look glossy. The dark, cool toned brown, that's a staple for me. And Skin Show Moon Glow, which is basically the perfect fixer shade for me. It blends and erases all manner of ills. But the point of shopping my stash is to get into things that I haven't been using, and this I have been using a lot. I'm going to put it away for now. Tom Ford Naked Bronze I'm pretty much never without. This is my most used single eyeshadow product, and I've also been using it a lot because when I've traveled in the past couple of months, I've taken only this with me as eyeshadow. I hate to put it away because I reach for it all the time, but I think that putting it away for a couple of weeks is going to help me get more use out of some of my other makeup. And lastly, the Gucci palette, which was a gift from Joe. It's also something that I reviewed thoroughly. I have a thorough review of this on my channel and a thorough review of the Pat McGrath palette on my channel. So if you're interested in either of those videos, look in the description box down below. I'll try to remember to link them there. I do use this palette from time to time, and I always love the way that my eyes look when I use it. I tend to most frequently use the brown, the burgundy, and this kind of purplish taupe. But with these two palettes on my vanity, the Gucci and the Pat McGrath, I've been using the Pat McGrath way more. I'm tempted to keep the Gucci palette out, but I think that the thing that will really enliven my relationship with it is if I put it away for a couple of weeks and then bring it back out the next time I switch out what I'm using. And I'd like to clear the space on my vanity and kind of start fresh. So that's what I'm going to do. The Viseart Petite Dark Mattes I have been using constantly since I received it in PR. I find it so useful, but I'm curious to know what it will be like without it. So I'm going to put it away too. This is my most recent custom palette. I just built this palette on camera yesterday. And actually, this is the thing that I'm most eager to shop my stash for. I haven't started using it yet. I just put it here on my vanity after I cleaned up from my filming session. So I'm going to leave this out and maybe consider having this be the only eyeshadow palette for which I shop my stash, or maybe one of two. NARS Summer Unrated. This was a gift from my friend Khaki pretty recently. I'm tempted to keep it out because it's new and I'm still getting to know it, but I think if I keep it out, it will keep me from using the old makeup for which I am about to shop my stash. So I'm going to give it a little break, put it away, and bring it back out in a couple of weeks. These are two ColourPop Super Shock shadows that came in PR. I've just had them out because I've been using them, testing them, but they can go away for now and make space for other things. Then these two Exa products I have been continuing to test even since I did the review. I'm going to put the primer back in the drawer, and I'm going to put the foundation in my giveaway box because it's not a good match for me. I've actually been really into this primer since I filmed that review, but I think I want to shop my stash for something different and mix it up. Okay, while I was putting everything away, I realized that I think that when it comes to shopping my stash for something to complement this palette, I'm more interested in my little single component eyeshadows and maybe even little palettes like this than I am in pulling a big palette, because I really want my attention to be on this. I'm excited about it and I want to get to know it really, really well in the coming weeks. So I'm going to go through these little singles and liquid eyeshadows and these little palettes and see if there's anything that stands out. Okay, here's what I decided on. It's kind of a lot, but that's the exciting thing about shopping my own stash. There's really nothing to be lost from picking everything that I feel like using because it's not as though I'm buying it or something. The palette that I built is really designed to help me continue to do like the angry eyes that I've been doing, like really dark rimmed, kind of punk rock, grungy, greasy, smeary eyes, but to have these exciting textures and multi-chromes and a little bit of color, like bronzy green, to enhance that kind of look and evolve it as the weeks pass. So I picked some things that I think will support that project and some things that I think will contrast that project. This is one of the best supporting actors for that project, the Victoria Beckham, I can't remember what it's called, but it's this like pressed pot eyeshadow, and this is in Onyx, which is a really glimmery, gleamy, crushy, blackened color. It's the Victoria Beckham Lid Lusters. So that's right in line with what I've been talking about. This is an old Urban Decay Slide On Glide On eye pencil in Perversion. It's a really dark, thick black. And I actually don't have a black eye pencil out on my vanity right now or like mixed into the things that I've been using. So I've been using slightly off black colors to give myself really dark rimmed eyeliner heavy eyes, and I'm excited to see what I can do with an actual deep dark black. ColourPop Ritz I wanted for years and years and finally acquired a while back, and I just haven't been using it all that much because I have so much makeup. I think this will be really good for that final wash of sheer kind of iridescent color all over the lid. Phytosurgent's Defiant Dahlia I think is going to be a good go-to for me on the days when I'm not prepared to do the most and I just need something quick, easy, flattering that I know works for me, that's kind of foolproof. There isn't really anything like that in the palette that I built myself, so I think it's going to be a relief to me to have this out on my vanity. So that's a little bit of a departure, and then all of these are kind of departures from the theme. Even though it's too orange for my taste, there is just something about this liquid Lurex from Lisa Eldridge. This is the shade Lauren. I always love the kind of sparkle that it adds to the eyes. I almost didn't pick it because it's so opposite color-wise and vibe-wise of everything else that's here, but again, that might be something that I'm relieved to have out on certain days. I decided to pull all three colors of this Lethal Cosmetics pot eyeliner. These are such great colors, I couldn't pick just one. I almost never use these, but when I do, I'm always so excited by what I end up doing with them. They work really, really well. I'm able to get like like a sharp, fierce wing with them, which is something that I don't do often. And I'm just kind of curious about what I'll get up to if these are staring me in the face from the surface of my vanity every single day. This is a bright blue eyeshadow stick that came in PR from Urban Decay a while back, and I've never used it, but I've always wanted to. And then finally, I picked my old standard, my old favorite Rowan 75 Degrees Warm Quad. This was my most used makeup for a really long time. It's basically been in storage with the other 3 Rowan quads now for quite a long time as well. I just haven't been thinking of them, haven't really been using them, and I'm so interested to see what I'll think and feel about this when I start using it regularly again. I'm excited to report back to you about that, and I'm also curious to see how it has held up over time, because that was one of the big questions about these palettes of cream shadows when they first launched. So that's my little collection of eyeshadow and eye makeup products. Let's see what we find in the other drawers. Okay, these are my lip products, and I'm really excited to dig into these. I've been really wanting to do bold lip looks lately. I've been loving kind of like a natural light skin look without too much blush, maybe even no eye makeup, with a really strong bold lip. But I've been defaulting to the same lip products over and over again for that kind of look. So let's see what's in here that I really love that I haven't really been using. Mandarin Bolero from Givenchy would be amazing. It's like a really, really bright, nearly watermelony, but not quite, but very summery, pinkish red kind of. I feel like I've been missing some of my favorite drugstore lipsticks. Here we have Maybelline Raw Chocolate, Revlon Mink, Revlon Rum Raisin, and Maybelline Gone Greige. I'd like to start using Gone Greige. I think it's Gone Greige and Mink for me right now. This one is Mink, and there's Gone Greige. It's a gorgeous kind of purpley neutral. Do I want to pick a gloss right now? You know, I think I do. I think I want to pull my Persona glosses, Twilight and Coral, and Truth or Dare, which is this awesome kind of brownish taupe lip gloss that I bought for myself months ago before we left LA, and I absolutely loved it, and I don't feel like I've used it as often as I should be given how much I love the way that it looks. Okay, so I've pulled 6 lip products, 3 lipsticks, and 3 glosses. These are my complexion products, lip balms, mascaras, brow products, kind of like the most basic base makeup. I don't have as much variety in these categories, right? I don't have as many different concealers as I do lipsticks, for example. And there are some staple items like my Rose Ink Concealer, the Exa Green Color Corrector. These are things that I've been using and I'm not going to stop using because they're just the ones that work the best for me. But still, I'm going to go through and see if there are any products in any of the categories that are in this drawer that I would like to bring to the forefront and use more in addition to my continued use of my staple items. Here's one, the Auric Glow Lust in the updated shade of Morganite. I really love this product, not just the skincare glow that it gives to the skin, the way that it sets down, but also the fact that the color is so brightening. So it does that luminous thing on me, and also now that the color has been lightened, it's a really good mix-in for my base products. And I've used it a lot in the past. I haven't been using it as much recently, and I'm curious to see how it will interact with my current favorite base products, because since these came into the limelight in my life, I haven't really been using this as much. So I'm going to shop my stash for that. The Gucci mascara is an old favorite that has slipped to the back of the drawer just because there are so many great mascaras in my rotation right now. This one's getting to the point where it's kind of old, and I'd like to get more good use out of it before it gets too old for comfort. I don't want to declutter it feeling like I haven't really used it. And I think that's going to be it for this drawer. Again, many of these things are in pretty heavy rotation already, and there are some things in here like, eyebrow pencils pencils, brow gels, where I genuinely only have one, and then I'm just going to continue to use the one that I have. So from that drawer, it's just 2 items. Okay, so here's my blush drawer. Blush, highlighter, and bronzer. It's kind of all the same to me. Cheek makeup. But I just filmed a video going through all of my blush, swatching it all, and kind of trying to reconnect with my blush collection. And as part of that video, which should already be up on YouTube, if it's not, it'll be up soon. And if it's not up yet, then this is kind of a spoiler for how that video ended up going. But as part of that video, I kind of ended up shopping my stash, my blush stash, for some blushes that I realized in the swatching that I wanted to use more frequently in the coming weeks. And I set them aside already, and they're these ones up here. So I think that these blushes are just going to go straight into my Shop My Stash box. They're like pre-selected. They're going to join the party. This one is the Kevyn Aucoin Neo Bronzer in the lightest shade, which is a really lovely rosy blushy color. Rituel Defy Eros, which I've been shying away from using because in my mind it's very cool toned. When I swatched it, I remembered that it's actually got kind of a rosy undertone that makes it easier to use than you would think. Glossier Puff, a very bright milky pink. The M Cosmetics Color Drops Serum Blush in Venetian Rose. The 3CE Take a Layer Multi-Pot in this really bright kind of coral red, which is called Morning Skinny. And then this Ket Cream Fix palette is in here, but it's just for the sake of this one blush in the bottom left-hand corner, which is called Bermuda. So that takes care of blush and bronzer, but not highlighter. And I think that what I want to do is to pull this Dior highlighting palette that was a gift from my friend Simbri a while back. I've been getting more into powder cheeks lately, a little bit more comfortable with them after a really long break. And I feel like this is the perfect time to get to know this product even better. I'm especially curious to see how it will go with this highlighter in the upper right-hand corner and this kind of peachy powder in the bottom left-hand corner. So this is it. This is the little array of products for which I've shopped my stash. And even though I usually like to keep it pretty simple on the surface of my vanity and keep my makeup stored away in drawers, I like having a situation where everything has a place to which it can return. And I usually just have 1 or 2 palettes out here. Even though that's the case, I think I'm going to start this project by having everything out. I think it'll be stimulating for me to see it here when I sit down, and it's not taking up so much space that I don't still have a lot of open space. So we'll give that a try. We've got the lipsticks and glosses over here, complexion product here, and of course that will be supplemented by things that are in this middle drawer. A mascara here, a bunch of eye makeup here in the middle, and then the cheek products over here. For the next couple of weeks, I'm going to store it here. I'm going to see how that makes me feel and what it makes me do. But the first thing that I'm going to do with this makeup is to take it onto my studio and film a video with it. I'm gonna film myself putting it on my face, seeing what I pick when I use this collection of makeup as my makeup for the very first time. So that video should be up soon on my channel. It will follow this one shortly. I'm excited to see where this takes me, and I hope that you are too. I also hope that this has inspired you to shop your stash, especially if you're doing no buy July like I am. To me, a key part of the project was putting away the makeup that I had been using regularly first to kind of clear the decks. I also focused on picking makeup that I haven't been using. Each one of these is a piece of makeup that I really haven't used or even thought about in quite a while, and that's part of what's making this so exciting because it feels new. If you do decide to shop your stash, let me know in the comments down below how it went for you. Again, I hope you'll subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.